I think he will get more votes than the Conservatives. Less seats, more votes, which will really help make his point as well about first past the post.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about first past the post. For the first 25% of worth of voters, you get practically nothing. And then once you get past that 25% mark, you shoot up from about 0 seats to 50 pretty much straight away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's exactly it. He with the 2 weeks that he has, roughly, less even, 1.5 weeks now, he won't hit the critical threshold, I expect. But the critical threshold would suddenly switch it from being like Conservative victories across the country to just those are now Reform victories. There's already many regions in which he's ahead of the Conservatives, and that's all he would need. If he's 1 point behind in 20 regions, then that's only 1 point per region away from them being Reform, not Conservative. And given that Reform now has a greater share of the overall national vote, it really is plausible that people who would otherwise vote Conservative will start to perceive Reform now as the legitimate right-wing party. They may even say on the poll, Conservative, but then when it comes to the ballot box, they'll say, the Conservatives. Vote Reform instead, because they seem to be the legitimate opposition.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The biggest factor here is time, and he doesn't have a lot of it.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. I think it's going to be about 10 to 15. If he had another month, if this was like an official election rather than a called election, like if he had another month to prepare for this and a proper campaign lengths of time, I think it would be more along the lines of 30, 40, maybe even 50 seats.
Yeah, I agree. Which is perhaps an argument against snap elections being callable. Perhaps there could be some. I mean, the 2019 thing was a pretty valid exception, but other than that, I don't know. It seems like there's too much tactics in when you call the election. You can negatively affect the will of the people just by when you call it.
Yeah, you can significantly affect the outcome based on when you're calling the election.
Yeah,
because. Like, for example, if you call an election during the summer, you can pretty much guarantee you're not going to get a youth vote at all because most students will be out getting hammered, pretty much.
Yeah, bloody students, always out getting hammered.
So it is
no comments as much.
Yeah, so it is pretty much the case that, like, if you vote, you'll get about 20% of youth voters if you have a vote during term time. If you don't, you get practically nothing. People from ages 18 to 21 from like June to August just do not vote.